It's Thursday and it's October 27th. I went to Ivy. I took the 101 at Ground Initiative. I'm just rolling in Lewis and Linda's car. My driver's license issue has been fixed. For the last however long I made a document of it, the flags have been changing right off the 101 in the Americana Manhasset. So I'm keeping an eye on it and not really knowing what it means, but growing up here on this island and having these one higher flag and then 8 lower flags, knowing that there's this light over darkness and trying to wrap oneself around whatever. On the TV now they're talking about a Diwali. Never heard of those words in my life. They also paired it with a little bit of suicide prevention, some memory beads, some initiative in the local city area. I'm currently in a Nassau County line. So by the Manhasset in the Chamber of Commerce. So I'm looking and I see this United States of America flag, or what they've deemed it to be in my understanding of God, country, and family, in the pledges of allegiance with one flag, when they had me in several layers of their whatever was partaking here on Long Island. So I'm looking. The highest flag, obviously, is the one they've had me pledging allegiance to from the beginning. So I understand what that one and the associated words are, in what characteristically they have as a 26 uppercase, 26 lowercase alphabet. That's what they taught it as in my life frame. They continued that from Linda's life frame into my life frame and then into my children's life frame. It was 26 letters, upper and lower case. And it was one set of characters. So I'm looking. They took the flags down. They had up this one model. They had London Watch. They took London Watch down. They kept the model on the left. Then on the right, they took London Watch down for some reason on the right, and they put up some, I don't know what. And I'm looking now at this second model on the right that does not look familial. Doesn't look familiar. Doesn't look familial. Not quite sure what that's about. Only one model looks familiar. And then I'm looking at these 8 flags, and I realize that in the set of rooms on this particular ground initiative that I've been held within, there has been no teachings of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the flags, they put up whatever they are. I have no idea what they represent. There's been no integrative communication, integrative effort whatsoever to teach. I don't know about Linda and Lou, but for myself in the rooms I was in, and then what I was told by my children, by their teachers, that interactive piece, which was minimal, I did not learn from their teachers in a rolling time frame with parental to custodial rights and necessity for national security, being that my children look a lot like I do. So I'm confused how I've learned two flags, but not because the teachers on this land have taught me about these two flags that I can recognize from afar, and I have an association of strictly alphabet characters. I know nothing about the people, the culture, the lifestyle, the religious, the sports, the business, international trade. I have no idea. Nobody has even begun to make an effort to teach, when they raise these flags, what it actually means for me personally. Nobody's even made an effort while I've been here under the highest flag. So I'm looking with this like traumatic and dramatic life frame of real life story of abuse and neglect, and then there is some outrigger that works in conjunction with something in order to keep me safe. I get that. I just don't know who they are either. So I'm looking at this assortment of calamity of eras, and it's frightful that there are 6 flags waving that I couldn't even, if my life depended on it, put a label on them. But all 8, I have absolutely no idea, because there's been no unity in communication, scholarship, fellowship, or any integration with an international trade community. So I'm looking at the moment at putting this local to regional to long distance carrier communication back in some semblance of one reality, because of all of this international calling with no explanation to the locals, or at least to my local and my children. And being that the White House is the White House, and the monetary system is what the monetary system is, we have an eagle, one-headed eagle in this area, that's for certain. And there is familial and history and strength built within that integritous system. So I'm relying upon those very real symbolic gestures in order to preface and post and provost ambassadorship, I suppose, with some sort of relevance and reality, since there's a lot of delusion and diluting of what feels like security, although it seems to be this minutia movement of sorts. But even in like the plasma world, there are collagen fibers that hold cellular integrity in a nano world of medical understanding. I told a physical therapist today, I was wearing, it's all medical paraphernalia on my socks. I said, it really beats cupcakes. I said, I knew I hit an all-world low when Linda brought home cupcakes on the socks. Not something I ever wanted to wear, not something I ever aimed for. I was like, but we went to the store and we corrected that faux pas, and she got me medical utility paraphernalia to wear on the socks, so at least I'm pageanting correctly in this homeless attire that I'm stuck within. So I'm just really, it looks like I rummaged through the homeless shelter. I get that. There's been very little control over that because of the lack of opportunity and lack of genuine care. So I'm driving in normal route and I see the flags are back up. Some of them have changed from the last time. They look similar, but you have to have an acuity to actually really sit and examine, which I am. I'm in Whole Foods parking lot across the street, so I'm not filming them My back and my front camera are not even pointed in that direction. Behind me, when I originally parked, was a National Grid truck. I thought that was interesting, but nobody was seated in the driver's seat. And then while I was here making the video, somebody returned to the vehicle and then took off out of the parking lot for signs and symbols. And is it subliminal? Is it staged? I don't know. Again, it's a big wide world out there, and there's a lot of magical moving parts. So here I am. I saw yesterday this French kiss alcoholic drink was mentioned with some Justin Cucci, who is a chef at Olinger, and he has a book about humor and something with human in it, and then vegetables being like planets, and like he's got a whole book on that mojo, M-O-J-O, which again, at the Integritas at Church in Action, I know there's a specific occult community that's been fed a line of BS that they follow religiously. I get that. But in that one large area distillery mixed with economy and money and the flow of trade and so on and so forth, I'm just thinking there's more than just one team. I'm just at a loss for where my teammates are in the ones I'm supposed to have been born to trust at King's Post Trust. I'm really deficiently low on how to recognize them by pattern in the field, by facial recognition, by things that logically can be put in some construct of order. I mean, here's another thing in English. There's something called a pecking order. I think drill sergeants rely on pecking order, safety protocol, knowing where the chain of command and protocols exist to keep other large area safe. I'm part of pecking order where they literally sent me a man, a elder in that name frame, with a book of words, very specific book of words, for more man and for Je suis and Jesus. So again, being that there's multi-tasked efforts, and then there's this larger structure and little room for error in certain industry, I am just looking for local signs at this point, and the ones that I can see for, I don't know who's on flag committee, I don't know how these things get put together, but as far as learned in a regular life path on this island, and what have they in the set of rooms at multi-stages of life, no less, what have they taught? Some of the most important things in life they haven't even mentioned. And going back to the couple who was at the Greek restaurant, who one ordered soup, one ordered salad, and like, is that supposed to be like something? That was not the only meal I've ever eaten at. I was taken by one person to a different restaurant. She just showed up in the office one day, and she invited me out. Her other, who did not sit at the table, was Pasquale. Maria knows who she is, at Crescendo. Again, She was asking me questions. I got dizzy during the meal with her at the table at Rustica, right next door to Merrill Lynch at 200 Middle Neck Road. That was right after Benjamin, and the problem was 76. Whatever that means to the Greek restaurant, who had some, whatever, they just got married. Yeah, so that's congratulations. I mean, like, what more do you want me to say? I mean, it's a big wide world out there, and the amount of people that you just bump into when there's no constant contact and there's no way to flag and say, hey, I need help. That doesn't exist in this version of humanity for me. I don't know why. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York. Actually, I'm in Port Washington, so it's 11050, I think.